Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR HALACHA. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Wednesday, 26th day of June, 23rd day of Sivan. We are continuing our law about how you're supposed to treat food honorably, and we're in the question specifically about whether you could feed human food to animals. So, continuing on in that, the poskim do say, the rabbis say that raw food, or food that's uncooked, you are allowed to feed that kind of food to animals because humans aren't eating it. So that would be a kind of food that would be human potential food that you could be feeding to animals. If it's a situation whereby the animal will die if you don't feed him the food, then certainly you could feed the animal human food. Some say that human food given to your own animal, like if there's some food on your table, in your kitchen and you don't want to eat it and you give it to your animal, then it's okay. That's from the Minchas Yitzchak. Again, that if it's your food at your kitchen table that you want to feed to your animal, that you're allowed to do that. The Magen Avram says an interesting thing, and that is that you should not give bread to animals if Hamotzi was already recited over that loaf or something like that. Did you get that? If you have a loaf, a Hamotzi was said over the loaf that puts a certain holy status upon the bread, and then that bread should not be fed to animals. And now we come to, of course, Shabbos Shira. We discussed this months ago. On Shabbos Shira, there is a custom to feed bread to birds. That's human food going to animals. Quickly, I'll recap the reasons. One of them was because the birds actually saved the day when the Jews were in the desert. Moshe had announced to the Jews that there was not going to be any mun on the day of Shabbos. And Dasan and Aviram, two wicked people, spread out man all over the camp in defiance of Moshe, wanted to show that he was wrong, and the birds scooped it up in the middle of the night, so their scheme was foiled. And we thank the birds on that Shabbos. Shabbos Shira is the Shabbos that has that story in the Parsha, and so we feed bread to birds on that Shabbos. Although we put it out before Shabbos, not on Shabbos, because you're not supposed to feed animals that are not yours on the holy day of Shabbos. Okay, the second reason that we give bread to birds on the Shabbos of Shira is because birds are always singing when they go to tweet tweet, and that's kind of like a Shira. So on the Shabbos of Shira, we acknowledge that. But again, you should not put it out on Shabbos. Some say that you could put it out on Shabbos, but you just leave a cover over the container. The birds will knock the cover off, and thereby you didn't fully feed them. They fed themselves. But anyway, that is an occasion when we do all consider it okay for humans to be feeding their food, their bread, to the birds on Shabbos Shira. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.